Fan TV, the quarter-final draw has happened for the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship. We're going to be reacting to that draw in this video, and what a draw it is. Four very exciting games, four very interesting games, it must be said. And look, when we seen the games yesterday, when we seen the results and everything else, we kind of knew more or less the kind of draw that we could get. We knew Kerry were going to play Armagh. Dublin, Tyrone was very, very likely, given some teams that Dublin couldn't play as well. And here we are. The draw has happened, and we're going to be reacting to the draw. We won't be predicting the games in this video. We'll save that for a little bit later down the line. But yeah, what an interesting draw. It happened 8:30 this morning on RTE, so if you're up for it, fair play to you. But here we are then. So Armagh versus Kerry, Tyrone versus Dublin, Meath versus Galway, Monaghan versus Donegal. The date and time are to be confirmed. We know they will be next weekend, but in terms of what games will be on the Saturday and what games will be on the Sunday, that will still be need to be confirmed. So very, very fascinating games. I think they're all very evenly balanced. I think they'll all be mouth-watering toys as well. Be very interesting to see what teams do make it through to the semi-finals. Like Armagh Kerry, that's going to be an absolute classic. We knew that would be one when the draw was announced and everything else. We knew how much of a game, how brilliant of a game that this would be when we heard the news regarding the draw. And that's going to be absolutely brilliant. David Clifford, who's going to pick up him? Barry McCambridge maybe picking up him. That's going to be very interesting to see as well. Tyrone versus Dublin. Look, as a Dublin fan, that was the one I wanted the least, if I'm going to be honest with you. I thought maybe, look, it would have been a difficult draw either way in terms of Meath or Monaghan. We obviously couldn't get Armagh, so I would have liked the idea of playing Meath in Croke Park again, or sort of running it back after what happened in Portlaoise. It would have been good to kind of get that game back again. I think the Dublin lads would have been bang up for it this time around. And whilst it'd be a tough game, I think we would be able to come through that. Monaghan would have been a very tough game as well, to be fair. But I think Tyrone is by far the most difficult one. It is the toughest one that you can get, in my opinion. And I think it's going to be a tough game. The fact that Tyrone, though, have had a couple of weeks off, maybe might suit Dublin a little bit. We do have a good record against Tyrone and Croke Park in recent years as well. So hopefully that will stand to us. And Meath Galway is going to be an absolute cracking game. We thought Down versus Galway was a cracking game. Wait till we see this one. In terms of 2-pointers, in terms of attacking numbers that both of these two teams have brought this year, this is going to be an absolute humdinger. And don't sleep on Meath. That's all I'll say. Do not sleep on Meath there. People might look at it and think, that's a nice one for Galway, having come through Down and, having gotten Down and now gotten Meath. You look at the teams Galway could have actually faced. But in my opinion, I still think that's a very difficult game for Galway. And I do think Meath absolutely have the capabilities of winning that game. Monaghan, Donegal, two teams that have played each other, but back in the Ulster quarterfinal, so quite a while away. It is interesting with Monaghan. They've, when you look at the teams that they've actually faced this year, they faced the majority of Division 2 teams. Obviously haven't played in Division 2 in the groups as well. The only Division 1 team that they've played this year, maybe you say aside from Roscommon, because they've obviously been promoted, has been Donegal. And they played them in Ulster. They lost to them. Donegal were comfortable enough. Monaghan made a game of it towards the end. They drew the game back. I think it was a 2-point game in the end. He had the whole thing over the hooter sounding, and Monaghan were a little bit kind of aggrieved by that. But in the end, it turned out to be the right decision. So that'll be interesting as well. Donegal, what is it about them playing Ulster teams this year? I think this is what's going to be their 9th championship game, and only two of them will have been against teams that haven't been from Ulster. This will be the second time playing Monaghan. They've played Down, they've played Derry, they've played Armagh, they've played Tyrone, they've played Cavan, they've played everyone from Ulster almost this year. And now they get the chance to play Monaghan once again. A few comments running in there. Shane says, hopefully Kerry supporters will listen to the players' rally cry and make the trip to Croker next weekend. We need to get behind the lads in a massive game that we have a massive chance in. Tom says, I think Tyrone take out Dublin. And Shane says 4 great games. Wouldn't be surprised if Meath beat Galway, to be honest. If Galway perform, they'll win it, but they haven't really been at it in the championship. Yeah, it is an interesting point, to be fair. And yeah, like absolutely. Like when you look at the numbers that Galway are conceding as well, and it is the type of game that Meath will relish. You know, the fact that Meath can do what they've done to Dublin and Kerry, I think they can do it to Galway as well. And it will be interesting to see as well in terms of injuries. Like, will Shane Walsh be injured? Is he going to start? Is he going to play? Obviously, Meath had a couple of players missing the last day as well versus Kerry, the likes of Matthew Costello and a few others. But they have some phenomenal footballers, Meath, from Matthew Costello, as we just mentioned, but Rory Kinsella, Connor Duke were both outstanding the last day as well. So Meath have a serious chance there. No doubts about that one. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see what games are on the Saturday, what games are on the Sunday. I'll be away this weekend, unfortunately, so I won't be able to go to any of the games. I am going on a little lovely holiday, but I will watch them. There's no doubt about that. How could you not watch these games? So it's going to be interesting to see if they're on the Saturday, if they're on the Sunday. I did hear the Tyrone Dublin game will be the Saturday evening game, but we'll have to wait and see what happens there. In regards to that, could be, I would say, like in terms of double headers, I think Tyrone Dublin, Meath, Galway would make sense, and I think Armagh, Kerry, Monaghan, Donegal would make sense as well. You know, I think Meath are going to bring a lot of supporters to that Galway game. Look, Armagh fans are huge. You can't have Armagh, Kerry, Tyrone, Dublin on the same day anyway, because you know, Armagh are probably the best supporter team out of all them, and look, Dublin bring huge numbers as well. But obviously, we're in Dublin, we're in Croke Park, so we're always going to bring big numbers there. Be interested to see what type of crowd Tyrone bring, Kerry bring as well. So it will be interesting to see what games are the double headers. I do think Meath, Galway, Monaghan, Donegal would make sense as a or Meath, Galway, and Tyrone, Dublin would make sense, but we'll have to wait and see in regards to that. Shane says if Dubs are on Saturday, you'd expect Kerry, Armagh to be on Sunday. I think I've seen Cahir O'Kane say as well that, you know, it's probably likely to be that way as well. Just the fact that Kerry, or the fact I think Donegal Monaghan is very likely to be on the Sunday, just given the fact that Donegal, you know, just played on Sunday, so it'll be a shorter turnaround. So most likely they'll be on the Sunday. And then yeah, maybe Armagh. I think Armagh, Kerry, and Monaghan, Donegal as a double header, I think would make sense. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, we'll be back during the week to preview the games, to predict the games. I'm very excited to do that as well. The quarterfinal weekend is always probably the best weekend, I think, in Gaelic football, alongside the All-Ireland weekend. But it's, you know, it's when it's all still in the balance. It's all still in the mix. The All-Ireland weekend is obviously brilliant, but there's only 2 counties involved, essentially. You know, that way. So, but there we are. Shane says they very much could and have done before, but I don't think they should be bringing the 3 Ulster teams on the same day. Yeah, it'd be absolute carnage for all those counties. You know, traveling down the one motorway, all trying to get to Croke Park, Swords Road. That would be absolute chaos there. Jesus. So no, I don't think they'll do that, to be fair. I think they will balance it a little bit. Meath will kind of have to travel the same way, to be fair, albeit a much shorter distance than some of the other counties. But yeah, we'll throw the draw up on the screen again before we do finish up with this video. So Armagh, Kerry, Tyrone, Dublin, Meath, Galway, Monaghan, Donegal. In terms of a double header prediction, I would go Tyrone, Dublin, Meath, Galway on the Saturday, with Meath, Galway the first one, and then Tyrone, Dublin the second one. Dublin will most likely be the second game, just given that's kind of always how it works, isn't it? And then you've got Monaghan, Donegal, Armagh, Kerry Sunday. Then again, the 3 Ulster counties coming the one way as well. It is a fair point, isn't it? Maybe Monaghan, Donegal's on the Saturday, actually. But then you have Tyrone, Dublin as well. So you know what I mean? You have a lot of Ulster teams there. You're probably just going to have to take the hit whatever way you do it. But yeah, do let me know your thoughts, your feelings on this quarterfinal draw. We will be back a little bit later in the in the week to preview and predict these games. So do let us know your thoughts, your opinions. And until the next one, speak to you all later.